I honestly had no idea what I was about to get into when I started this first episode of Apothecary Diaries, and I also had no idea how much hype and popularity was just circulating around this show. You don't believe me? Well, I made this post late last night asking, is this worth checking out? Because a lot of people have been recommending this anime to me, and I've been seeing this key visual kind of, around the internet as of late. And I was like, this looks very pretty. It reminds me a lot of Yona of the Dawn that I really wish would have gotten an anime continuation, but just the very general style of just this key visual alone looked like Yona to me. And anyone that watched my old episodic reviews of Yona knows how much I loved it. It was a really good show. And once again, as clarification, I had no idea what this show was about. The only thing I could guess was that it was going to be about potion making, putting herbs together and stuff like that because, Apothecary Diaries. That's all I really knew. I didn't know anything else. For all I knew, it could have been like a sci-fi, a mech show, whatever. I had no idea what I really was about to get into when I watched the first episode. And this post, I said, made a lot of waves, like 2.4k likes on just in one night. That's kind of ridiculous, honestly. So clearly a lot of people are saying that this is worth checking out. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this first episode, and let's just, let's get my thoughts out there. How did I feel about that? What is the general synopsis of this series, at least so far that I've watched, and how's the characters, etc.? Where do I see the plot going? So basically, the era that this is set in is kind of like medieval feudal Japan, to where you have like concubines, you have, feudal lords, you have, fighting of power, like for instance, where like you have different concubines having the children of the emperor, and if the kid is that, let's say, a prince, then basically they're not going to be able to be in position for the throne. You have all these different things of a power struggle, stuff you would see in a lot of historical setting anime and manga. It has all those different type of themes. But what really makes this one really interesting is just, for one, the pretty nature of it. Like, this is a really pretty looking show. Like, there's multiple scenes with Mao Mao, I believe that's her name, where she just looks outright stunning as a character. But it's not just her. There's so many characters that is throughout this first episode that just have really beautiful visuals, look stunning and all that. And I think that really is a big part of, like, one of the things I really noticed while watching this first episode. But obviously, it's not just a pretty face. It's not just a pretty anime. There's a lot more going on here. For one, the characters. The characters of this show so far, I like. The general introduction of episode 1 definitely was more... It had a lot of darker themes than I expected, because it's like, I expected some form of twist, maybe Mao Mao to have something really, really horrible happen to her. Like, let's kind of explain that. So this character here, our main female character, she is, apothecary. She's someone that just, makes potions or, puts herbs together. She's a doctor, so to speak. Just for simpler terms, she's basically a doctor. And she was kidnapped in the early stages of this episode and brought to some place she didn't really know, but a palace. And, the emperor was there, a bunch of concubines, you had people that were just, doing laundry, all that type of stuff. She was a part of a huge staff of girls that were just, at this temple, watching over everything and making sure everything kind of remains in order. And so she, as an individual, wanted to keep her head down, stay as a typical serving girl, and didn't necessarily want to draw any attention to herself, because if she did, it could wind up where she could lose her life. She might, have a lord or a noble or something pay attention to her and notice her, which could obviously lead to a messy situation. So as a character, as a person, she wanted to just stay low as a serving girl, doing laundry, etc., and eventually she would be able to just leave, and that was it. Just move on with her life and get out of this whole situation, because she doesn't know she was necessarily being ransomed off, or she was just straight up kidnapped, and nobody really knows her origin point. Whatever the case may be, Mao Mao as a character, she is someone that likes to keep everything close to her chest and doesn't necessarily want to bring attention to herself. She's a very smart character. She's not dumb. She is not someone for quick emotion. She definitely is very calculative, and she knows what she's doing. Now, she does have this atmosphere about her where she has a fluffy atmosphere, or she knows how to pay respects, etc., but at the same time, she is someone that tries to be very smart, and she is a smart character, and, thanks to just how smart she is, you can only act dumb so long until someone realizes that you're just acting, because she's just too good at it. So everything about this, I like her character. Mao Mao as a character, at least with the first episode, because that's all I've watched so far, I really like her introduction. Now, especially, I like what she did for, the actual princess here, and, getting to see how the child was saved. I think that this was a very interesting moment, especially kind of the whole circumstances of how, they ended up dying. And let's kind of get into that dark subject. So basically, we come to find out that, there is this makeup that, the concubines and all that, use. Basically, they put on this white makeup, and it's pretty much poison. And this is definitely something I've heard in the past. I don't know exactly what it was called, but I do know that there is many historical events. You could go throughout history to where there's makeup or perfume, different things like that, that was just straight up poison. I believe at one point, like 100 or almost 200 years ago, there was makeup for women that had lead in it. Like, I could be wrong there, but I believe at one point in time, lead was being tested with, like, makeup to be able to help with makeup and on the face and stuff, and obviously that's not good. That wouldn't be healthy whatsoever. So it's like, I know that, makeup and poison has always kind of had a history with each other, and in this case, you have it to where it was an honest mistake because of the time, since this was in medieval or, feudal Japan, so to speak, people wouldn't really be completely aware of the dangers of some makeup because it's yet to become very widespread. On top of that, you gotta remember that this is in ancient times. This isn't in times with the internet and stuff where stuff like that, could spread instantly. Even, let's say, if one country found out about, let's say, makeup being poison, it could potentially take years until the other countries find out because of just travel distance to, the mail arriving or messages, or maybe those countries wouldn't even say anything to keep it to themselves so they could use it against enemy nations to be able to poison higher up people. So there's a lot of things to really factor into all of this. And so there is different layers to this show of the Apothecary Diaries that I like. It had a very mature tone to it that was using kind of like some historical facts kind of thrown into it while showcasing the level of intelligence that Mao Mao has as a character, especially with her little introduction and saying that all the, the waiting girls and all that, like the servers, they are not literate whatsoever. They're all illiterate. They can't read, they can't write, and basically, if someone wants to find out that our main character, Mao Mao, could read or write, would not be good. She'd draw attention to herself, which is technically what happened. And I think the reason why she got caught, or we do know this, the reason why she got caught, was because of her good nature. It's very clear that what this episode also presents to her, about her character, is that she is good-natured and is a doctor that wants to help people. But I think a big part to take away from all this is that she was only caught when she decided to help out the baby that was getting sick from the makeup. So all these things in line and considering this, it's just like it shows that she's a very good-natured person that probably will maybe get used against her. I could definitely see that becoming a huge issue in the future for her, but she could also become very dangerous. I feel like Mao Mao as a character, she has potential for great evil as well. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm not saying that. I didn't misread her character or anything. I'm just saying that, because she's, a doctor, she's an apothecary, and she knows about poisons as well, she could easily, if the story wants to go that direction, poison people easily because of just the time period that she's in. So there's a lot of things to consider with this. I feel like, the way this show is kind of being presented, it's going to be a struggle, a power struggle, political struggle between, like, children trying to fight for the throne, that typical type of storyline, but with a twist to where our main female character doesn't necessarily seem to be the queen or the upcoming, person that's going to marry the emperor. She's just someone that is a doctor. And I think it's a very unique approach to a show like this, because usually when we have these type of storylines, it's the main female character, about to marry the emperor or something. And so the fact that she's not technically doing that, now, this obviously could change. I'm assuming this is a romance story. But at this point in time, she isn't someone that is in line to marry the main position in power. She's just going to be, like, basically the family doctor. I think that's pretty cool. I really do like that. But, yeah, overall, I enjoy this show. It's legitimately a good show. I see why people are, liking it. Now, I don't think I probably got to the best parts of the show, because remember, I only watched episode 1 here, and there's currently 4 episodes out, so I have a lot more to really dive into and see exactly how I feel about it. I'm assuming with how many people have been continuously telling me to watch the show, it's gotten better and better throughout the episodes. So, yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Also, this person right here, I see this. This is way better than the series description let on. I think that is very true because the description does not do justice to what this show is really about. It's really hard to really describe the emotions that you feel from watching it, but if you allow the series to work its magic, you will come out with a smile or just straight up enjoyment of the show. But okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.